and welcome to my life. Welcome to ACN Academy. Right, so once you come in, I'd like you to just tell me where you're watching from, okay? And today we're going to be looking at the three things that you must nail. There are three things that must happen, three things that you must look into if you want to pass the GOC interview. And that is the beginning point. So I want to welcome you on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube. Once you come live, I want you to share the stream with someone you know that it's going to be quite helpful for. And I want to know that you're here. Tell me where you're watching from. Are you watching on the live? Hashtag live. If you're watching on the replay, hashtag replay. Okay. I'm just going to share this stream to my private group right now. And then we'll get started. Remember, if you have any questions at all, you want to drop it in the link below. Right, I just want to make sure that I'm live on the actual platforms. Let me just check that out. If you're watching on YouTube, you can say hi. You're watching on LinkedIn, just say hi LinkedIn, hi YouTube, and hi Facebook, so that I know that the stream is live. Let me just check that. Yeah, I am live on LinkedIn. Good. No. Okay, good. So they can hear me there. That's great. And I'm just going to make sure that the Facebook community can see me live. CN Academy. If you are watching from on any channel and you're not yet subscribed, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead, and so it's not showing on. Okay. Right, this is an academy. Oh, it's not showing. Okay, just bear with me. Let me correct that. Oh, you can't go live on Facebook yet. Why is that? Okay, so it's not showing on Facebook. Right, then I will connect to my main page. Let me just 1 second. Right, let's toggle that. Let's see whether that will work. Right. Okay, so Facebook should be connecting in a minute. And I'm sure I should be live. Let me just check that. Great. It's not live still. Let me see. It does say I'm live. Okay, cool. Right. Okay, so please kindly share the link, especially if you are part of the academy, you are subscribed to our channel or our pages. Go ahead and share so that people can be part of this stream. And as you do that, I say a very big God bless you. All right, so welcome to my life. My name is Dr. Desi Cosmos, and here there's nothing else we do apart from speaking international optometry and things that we need to do in order to bring our desires, our dreams, our calling even to reality. And that is being a succeeding, thriving, practicing optometrist in the UK. Okay. So if you're watching right now, whether on the live or on the replay, there are chances that you are preparing for the GOC interview maybe. Some of you have already passed your GOC interview and you're looking for placements. Maybe some others are doing their pre-reg year. Some of you are just thinking about it. Maybe you're still in school in your internship year, maybe doing your youth service if you're in Nigeria, going through the process, while some have submitted their forms and they're waiting for dates for the interview. Whichever space you find yourself, this stream is going to be very helpful for you, because I'm going to be breaking down the three things. There's so many things that need to be done, but there are three things that I'm going to be speaking to you about this evening that is really particular and helpful for passing the GOC interview. Now, these things I'm going to be sharing, I'm not speculating. I promise you they're not just surface level. No, they're actual things that the assessors are going to be looking at and will expect that you are trained for them and that you are ready to give them information, as they go ahead and they're doing the interview. Now, I've drawn these from loads of international optometrists that have helped qualify in the UK, and many of them passing their, when they go in there, they get that proceed to pre-reg in this particular state phase that we are in. And I can tell you from working with these GOC applicants one-on-one, the ones that do pass, get that proceed to pre-reg, they've got these three things right. So, who is here on the live? Let me see. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. If you just let me know who you are, where you're watching from, that will be great. And if you have any questions, put it in the comments below. I will be answering them straight as we go through. Okay, so let's get started. Now, obviously, you've passed through. So this, because you're preparing, remember today we're talking about the GOC interview. So this will mean that you've done the pre-assessment and you have passed the pre-assessment, and the GOC has sent you the application forms and the documents that you're supposed to submit. This live is very accurate as of July 2025. And so if you're watching this maybe after September 2026, you want to refer back to the College of Optometrists, refer back to the General Optical Council, because most likely things may have changed. We know that a big change is coming. We have an idea of what it is. We don't have the full details, but this is very applicable, especially for anyone that is looking to qualify between now and, I'll say, 1 year. Okay, so between now and August 2026. Right. Now, when they send you your form, the documents, one thing they send to you is your form. So number one, the evidence in your form has to match what you have claimed. It has to match your experience, and it has to match the experience they are looking for in the GOC interview. A lot of candidates get tripped up because their examples, the numbers they filled, even the case scenarios that they thought was included in that particular competency is not the case. I'll give you an example. So one part of the form talks about safety and protective dispensing. And I've seen forms where maybe a candidate has seen like 10,000 patients, over the course of maybe a good number of years. And when it comes to that particular competency, they feel that they have dispensed also 10,000, protective and safety wear. Having a discussion, some may say, well, for every patient, I would advise them, to wear UV protection and other things. But the point is, that particular part of the form, that is not what they're asking for. Now, another thing that happens is some people write, when they're filling their form, they could write a particular, they filled, okay, in this particular competency, I've seen X number of patients. And then when they are studying, so listen, when they're studying or when they're seeing their patient in practice, when they're preparing for the interview, they're not really looking at the various aspects and these things that are covered in your application form. These are they are, I would say, as it's written like that, it's really surface level. There's so many layers in the competencies that the assessors will be assessing you on as they're asking questions. And so if a question is asked about a case patient that you've seen, and you are answering the question with hesitation, you're answering very general. I've had loads of interview and a lot of people coming with this tactic of being very general, such as no matter the question you ask them, the next thing I hear is, okay, so I'm going to do a detailed case history, and then I will do visions, and then I will do, but we've just asked a question maybe about management, but they want to go back to the case history. So having a tactic of going in there and giving it just a blanket clause about a particular question, what that does is the assessors then begin to start to question the authenticity of your experience. And I know you don't want that. What do you have to do? You must be able to speak fluently and confidently about every case scenario that is represented in your form, especially the why. Why? What test did you do? What did the patient come in with? What did you do? And how did you manage it? Okay. So, in this step one, I'm just going to give you here a quick tip to go through what you need to do as you go through your form. For those of you that have submitted your form, if you submitted your form, you need to go through that form and look at it. Where are my numbers quite high? Where are the numbers quite low? I don't know why in such a foundational issue, such as the application form, a lot of optometrists just, oh yeah, I want to submit my form. Let me quickly just fill it. Yeah, is it that? Yeah, they fill it anyhow. Because I know for one, for so many candidates, even right yesterday, right today, I'm looking at forms and I'm asking questions. Say, oh, that was a mistake. Oh, that was a mistake. How many mistakes are you going to make in your form? Well, if you've already submitted your form, we can't go back. But if you haven't submitted your form, I would advise that you really sit down and understand what is asked in the form and really fill the numbers that match your years of experience and the amount of case scenarios that you have actually seen. Because, like you always hear me say, your form is like interview one. Yeah, because the assessors have no time to look at your form before they give you a date. When they have given a date, then they assign people, they assign the assessors. That is when they're going to look at your form. And your form will either give a good impression of your competence and your clinical experience, or, this particular person, okay, all right. You don't want them to be questioning your clinical competence even before you start the interview. Okay. So, what question am I asking as I'm filling my form? Can I defend or explain any part of that form and the patient encounters that I've had to the assessor? And you need to answer this under pressure. Do you get what I mean? Like, it has to flow from you like natural. Okay, yes, there's going to be a lot of nerves. Okay. But one thing I always say is when you are going in for that interview, you want to open up your consulting room and clock into your consulting room. Because in the consulting room, who is chief? You're the chief. Yeah. And you're seeing patients. And that is exactly how you will approach your GOC interview. Okay. So if this is resonating with you, I want you to put a yes in the comments. If you feel, actually, I really want to know who I'm talking to right now. Have you filled your application form? If you filled the application form and you've submitted it, put submit in the comments below. But if you have not filled your application form and you're just going through it, maybe you're about to submit it, just say not submitted. So submitted, not submitted. All right. And if it's making sense, if you're getting any value, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, and go ahead and like, and also share to your network. That will be helpful for us. And we continue to do these amazing teachings that we do here as part of the series to help international optometrists gain UK qualification. Now, the next thing you must know is you must have clarity. And it's not surface level clarity. You must have deep level clarity on each of the 8 competencies. Yeah. Most candidates, they tend to study very broad. Some people are using like the pre-reg modulus of competency, the pre-reg document to study, but I still notice that when they come in for mock interviews, not really scratching the surface of the depth that needs to be covered for the GOC interview. And I'm going to give you the advice that I give to all the candidates that I work with. This is the same advice that my mentor gave me. When you are preparing for your GOC interview, you should be preparing to practice optometry in the UK, because the desired outcome for the GOC interview is proceed to pre-reg. And once you get your pre-reg job and you fly into the UK, or you are already in the UK and you walk up to your store, it is no longer an oral interview. It is actually seeing patients. I'm going to do, I'll do another one and give you an insight on what happens literally when you pass that GOC interview and when you get into your store. Because one thing I've known from the number of discussions I've been having, a lot of people tend to be like, oh my God, I didn't know that this was it. So I'm just going to I'll do another one. I'm not going to spend too much time today, but I'll do another one to give you insight. So when you are preparing, it's what my mentor told me. She said to me, when you are writing up your cases, because at the time I was doing a logbook, she said, when you're writing up your cases, you want to understand the anatomy, the physiology, before you begin to look into the physiopathology, then look at, the pharmacological aspect of it before you even begin to write your cases. And she said to me, if I'm able to study like that to prepare my logbook, and I will tell you, if you're able to do that whilst you're even filling your form and you're understanding the layers that need to go in, then you are already 30% into the space of having clarity on each one of the 8 competencies. Okay. So clinical knowledge where you are, I've always said, is really good. You need it, but it's definitely not enough. Because your assessor is not just looking for clinical knowledge. There's specific behavioral markers within each competency. They're going to be assessing these things based on how you communicate. So you need to be clear with your communication, your decision making, your risk management, as you are explaining to the assessors how you treat patients of different, that falls into the different competency cadres. Okay. And like I said before, when you are explaining and communicating about your decision making, the particular test that you've done, the risk assessment, your management plan, star candidates, they don't just talk about what they do in their country. They've been able to understand they've been able to understand that there are some aspects of care that vary in the UK system. I mean, I would say this to you. So in the academy, at a certain time we had to employ. And when I was doing the employment, I obviously brought people that have the same skill set. But I was asking particular questions. Why do you want to work with the academy? What do you know about the academy? How can the skill that you have? Okay, I've seen your portfolio, it's wonderful, but how does the skill you have, how is it going to be helpful in what we do in the academy? It's the same thing they're looking for in the interview. Okay, you've got a master's, maybe even a PhD, maybe you've been practicing optometry for the past so many years, but how can you explain with clarity, with confidence, with competence, all the layers of the competencies, having an understanding of what you do in your country, as well as partially. Now, this can be surface level, but surface level partially understanding how it differs in the United Kingdom. Okay? So that level of clarity reassures your assessor that you're not just, coming in to learn, because there's no learning in pre-reg, but you understand, the way things work in the UK, and you are very ready for that pre-reg supervised year. Okay. All right. Do you have any questions? I hope this is making sense. Hi, Amara. Thank you. Okay, you've submitted your form. That's absolutely fine. Just going to have to hopefully go back and make sure that things make sense for you. All right. Now, finally, if you have any question as well, please put it in the comments below. I'm quite happy to answer. I'm just going to give you the final point, which is in order to pass the GOC interview, you don't want to be an island, okay? You don't want to be an island, because you need to have what I call a sounding board, okay? It could be pair to pair, all right? It could be that you even, you're looking at, so you're going through, now, even let me backtrack here. There's no point of going into the GOC interview if you have no clue of the questions that they ask. Absolutely not happening. I wouldn't. Why would you do that? So I want to believe that as you're preparing for this GOC interview, you have a clarity on the type of questions that they're asking now. You do know that the interview process has changed, totally changed. From it used to be a good chat and a hee-hi-ho and a cup of tea and a laugh. It's now very, very clinical. And actually, right now, it's not even just clinical, but it's even becoming technical, in that they are asking questions to be sure that you are actually performing the test that you say you perform. And we do know this is happening because a lot of people, sadly, have passed the GOC interview, have come into practice as a pre-registration optometrist, and then their assessors have seen that everything they filled in their form, everything, the cliche that was presented to the GOC wasn't just so. Now, this is not everyone, but a good number of them. And so now, from that feedback, when they're having an interview with you, they want to be sure that you are actually practicing what you say you're practicing. And so when the evidence that you're presenting to your assessor, now I'm going to break it down very simply that everyone would understand. So let's say someone, maybe I come from Nigeria, I'm from Igbo land, okay? And in Igbo land, we like our has soup, okay? And let's say there is, say, a Ghanaian or say someone from India, a lady, and is coming to, and this lady and this gentleman, they're sort of relating, and then the gentleman has already made up his mind that actually it's not like my wife needs to be cooking for me and all that, but I'm quite happy to eat out, but there's one thing that I don't compromise in, and that's my egusi soup, okay? Oh no, sorry, that's my oha soup. And then the lady comes and say, yeah, they're absolutely fine. Yeah, God, I know that Ohasip, I know everything about Ohasip. And then the man said, just jokingly, okay, you talk me through how you make this Ohasip. And then, they start talking about maybe how they boil the fish, and then they bring a bit of rice, and then they throw in a bit of spaghetti. Or actually, it's a cold dish, we just mix it and then put it in the fridge. I'm like, really? Nah. There are particular questions that they would be asking you to dig deep to see that you're actually performing, or you actually performed the test that you said you performed in that form. And so you should make sure that your evidence, that you're speaking with confidence, like what you're saying. And how can you do that? By not doing it in an island, peer-to-peer interviews, being in a group. You may have one of your colleagues that is practicing in the UK. Why not chat them up? And the way to do this is you chat them up first. Hello, been a long time. How are you? And da da da. Okay, next time. So how's it? Happy New Month. Da da da. Next thing. Okay, so I'm doing this UK qualification. I'm really coming to the UK. I've done A, B, C, and D. Would you mind being my sounding board? So I'm going to be discussing some of these questions. I'm going to be discussing some of the competencies, and I'll just do even a voice note, because obviously everyone is quite busy down here, but I'm just going to do a voice note. Can you just listen to it and see that it makes sense? Voila. Okay. All right. So, and that is just the third point that I wanted to discuss there. So some candidates, they fail not because they're clinically weak, but it's just about not even looking at the fine detail. I've heard a lot of things around, oh, you don't need to do this. It's only answering questions. Oh, you don't need to do this. For some people, I remember when I was in final year at university, Imo State University, and people were going for Viva. You see someone's Viva questions and you wish you picked that question. And you see the other person's Viva question and you're like, oh my God, thank God that is not my question. Now, there are some questions that I even see, I'm like, wow, that was like field trip. Okay. And then I see some other questions come out and I'm thinking like, oh my God, what was that? What happened in that hall? You don't know what you're going to get. And so you really need to make sure that you prepare really well. Now, optometry in the UK is really big. It's really good. It's a good space to be in. And your GOC interview is the gateway for you to be in that space. You've got that opportunity. Everyone that is taking that interview has already spent good money, applying for and doing all the other things. Why not make that count for yourself? Why not make that count for yourself? And I hope today that the three things we discussed, there's so many more we could talk about, but not on this live today. But I know that if you are able to, one, nail your GOC application form and the documents that proceed, but obviously the application form is your clinical professional presentation of yourself. If you're able to understand the layers, have good clarity on each part of the competencies, you're able to work on your confidence about explaining what you do, how you do it, the test you run, the history, the symptoms, and every other thing, you're definitely destined for good outcomes. Okay, all right, let me just check the link if I have any questions. All right, no questions so far. All right, now finally, I'm just going to share with us something that we have come up with. We did a survey to all the international optometrists that have been in my space in the maybe they've attended my webinars or they've come in contact with me maybe a one-on-one and they've had a chat, and they did ask for a particular space where they can get the professional help to do the things that need to be done in order to qualify with confidence. And we did listen, and we have come up with what we call the International Optometrist UK Registration Pack. And I'm just going to share that with you briefly as I wait for questions. So now in this pack, this is your step-to-step support to help you pass the GOC interview and to start your career with confidence. Okay. Now, this is for those of you that are starting the process. If you have already done your GOC interview, this is not for you. And if you have filled out your GOC, if you have submitted your form, you can, this will be helpful for you as well. But it's more for those that, you haven't submitted you haven't done your GOC interview. So this is not for those looking for placements, but it is a place for those who are unsure of how to translate their clinical experience, confused about the GOC, assessors and what they're actually looking for, nervous about your form, your interview answers, or how you're even not sure of how to begin. This is the pack for you. All right. Now, what does this pack give you? It gives you everything you need. It will help you understand exactly what is expected in the GOC interview. It prepares your responses to match the 8 competencies, and not just surface level, but deeper levels. You practice your answers in realistic mock interview, and it will help you in this pack. We guide you through filling your form, and your form is reviewed before you submit it. And those that have submitted their form, we will do a full audit of your GOC application form and help you understand, if there be any sort of cock-ups when you are filling it. We've done it before, we've done it over and again. We just get you ready for how the GOC assessors will be looking at that form and how you can present yourself in a better light. And it's quite a small, supportive community of those preparing for the GOC interview. This is just not like a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group. These are those that are actively preparing. And so those of you will be studying together. There will be a timetable for you to search out the materials and get your studies going. And at a certain point, you come in for your assessment. Now, how does this work? So you will get what we call the GOC application course, where we go through how to fill your form. For those of you that haven't filled it, you will fill your form with our guidance. You submit it, and our team, the documentation team, will go through that form for you, and we'll send it back to you. Then you do the edits according to your desire and then submit it. You would also get access to the full competency study guide, and this breaks down all the competencies and the different layers and everything you need to be studying in order to pass your GOC interview. Okay. Now, you would also, so this is what you get the application form, you get the form audit for those that haven't submitted, and for those that have submitted as well. You get the full study guide as well. And then inside here, you also have access to one mock interview. Now, at a certain point, you would also have a live session with myself, where we will do a bit of interview coaching, and you can ask any question at all. And obviously, maybe some of the mentors and tutors in the academy will be on that session as well. This is a bonus where you would be invited to be part of the pair. And this is only going to be a community for those that are serious. This is where you'll be doing, the competencies will be divided into different parts. You go study, come do your presentations. And after the presentations, you start your peer-to-peer interviews. The good thing about this community is I will be dropping in. I'm not going to be there all the time, but I will be dropping in to see what you're doing, and other mentors will be dropping into this community to see what you're doing. Usually we advise that the sessions are recorded, and we sort of go over it as well. Okay. Another thing we do, another bonus you get in this pack is you will get over 50 plus real GOC interview questions. It's not the questions that have been happening, but as people are coming out and we're getting these questions, you will have access to interview questions so that you know and you are fully prepared. And finally, you'll be invited to a WhatsApp group where I will be there. Your questions will be directly answered. If you have any question, you would be able to ask it on the platform and get answers so that you are not confused, you are rightly guided, and you get the help that you need. All right. Now, what is the investment? Somebody tell me, how is this sounding for you? Okay, this is not even, let me see. Is that what I wanted to do? Yeah, I wanted to make it bolder. How is this sounding for you? Hope it's sounding good. All right. So I'm just going to share. So the investment, yes, it's not a free. No, it's not free. There is an investment, but the investment for this program is £275 one-time payment, or 3 payments of £150. Okay. Now, once you click the link to enroll, it's once you make payment, whether you choose the 3 monthly, the 3 times payment, or the one-time payment, you get instant access to the application mastery course and the GOC competency guide. You start your studies altogether. Once we finish with this, and once the numbers are complete in a particular group, you will get an invite to the WhatsApp group, and then you also get an invite to the live Q&A. As regarding the one mock interview that is included in this bundle, we usually advise you wait until you get your GOC interview date, and then we will rota you in for an interview. It's an extensive interview. It mimics the main thing, but it's, mocks are usually harder. And then the assessors will give you on-point feedback on how you should be answering your questions, things that you should be doing, to areas that you need to work on. They will give you resource ideas on materials and things that you can do in order to enhance your learning preparation so that you go into the GOC interview hall and get answers. Okay. If you have any questions, I'd like to take your questions. I'm just going to stop sharing right now. If you have any questions about this bundle, let me know. If you have any questions at all about the GOC interview, let me know as well. I am going to try and drop the link in the comments so that you can have a read for yourself. If you have any questions, you just let me know. Let me see whether that's going to happen. Yeah, okay, let's see. All right, if you've got it. Okay, so if you're on Facebook, no, it's only those on YouTube. So only those on YouTube are getting this link. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to share it on, I'll just go to Facebook now and share it. Let me see. Okay. All right, I'm just sharing it on Facebook right now. But if you have any questions, let me know. Let me know. I'll just go on to LinkedIn and share it live. If you've got any questions for me, let me know. Any questions? Okay. All right. I can't see any questions coming through. So I want to believe that everything was explained. If you got some value out of this session, please let me know that you got some value. Anyone getting any value out of it? Anyone at all? I'm sure it's helpful, honestly speaking. If this program that we've put together for 275, if I had this sort of thing, at a time, yeah, it would be a steal. It would be a steal. Okay, great stuff. Okay, so thank you so much for watching right now. I hope to see you inside the community. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay, yes, Amara says yes. It was helpful. Thank you so much, Amara. Hope to see you inside the community. Hope to support you with this particular bundle. Only 275 or 150, three times payment, and everything you need to make sure that you fill that form correctly. You've got me to ask questions, be part of a WhatsApp group where you can have access and ask me questions as you go along. And then obviously you've got that study guide that is going to give you everything that you need to know when you're doing your studies, what you're looking out for. You've got the questions, you've got the community, the Q&A. There's no reason for which you're going to go in there without getting a proceed to free reg. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Share it with your friends and your colleagues. Put it on your platform. And if you need that link and you haven't got it, I want you to just comment GOC. Yep, GOC, and I'll send it right out to you. Thank you so much for listening right now, and I will see you inside. You take care. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye now.